Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my morning T&C for September. So these are the decks that I have either brought in or I've worked with, different things of that nature. I'm going to show some crystals as well too, because I've purchased a few crystals to be putting into my collection this month, which, I haven't really done in a while. Most of the crystals I've showed you are crystals that exist in my collection, and I'm very specific about what I bring into my collection now. So when I see something really special, I'll go after it. Other than that, I'm being very picky about what I bring into this house crystal wise, as well as tarot and oracle now too. I've learned, my tastes, my likes, the things that I'm looking for, the things that work for me. And, I'm now picky about what I'm going to bring in and what I'm not going to bring in, right? So let's get to this. I've got some really great decks that I have brought in and that I've been working with for September. If you saw the video that I did prior to this, you saw my decks of October and November. So you'll see a few of those in this because I've brought them in during September. Majority of them are new to me, but there are some things that I have had for a little bit. So without any further ado, let's get into it and see what I've got. This I brought in is Seasons of the Witch Mabon, however you want to pronounce it. I usually say Mabon. And everyone's kind of seen this. This is all over the place right now. If you watched the previous video, you know that I dropped my deck and I damaged the edges of it. But luckily I was able to put it into a press that I have here, and I just pressed it, and I was able to bring the bend out of the corners, which I'm really happy I did, because there were some that were like, I was like, oh man, do I have to like completely rebuy this deck or what? Like, did I just destroy my own deck? But it's okay. It's good. We've got it. I can shuffle it. Nothing's getting caught on anything, so we're good. These cards that were magic, like I love it. I love any deck that has tea stuff in it because I'm a tea drinker. I used to drink coffee for years and years and years. And then it started to kind of affect my health in certain different ways and aspects that I wasn't okay with. And so I then stopped drinking coffee and I went to tea. So when I see cards with tea, because there's so much talk about coffee all the time, when I see tea things, it makes me happy because I'm a tea drinker. And, it's nice to see stuff. There is one card that I've taken out of this, and I will show it to you guys right now. So this card right here is my stalker card. Every single time I took out this deck and I worked with it or I did things with it, this card would fall out, jump out, be present some which way or another. So I started to get the feeling that like it was to the point where I was like, okay, what do you have to say to me? What is going on? What is happening? So I've actually taken it out of the deck and I actually have it on my little card stand. Here, I'll show you that too. I make them myself. So it's just a block of wood with a cut in it. And I've painted it. So I just have this like this sitting out in my space where I work on my tarot and all my different things all the time. So I can see this card because this card, it was so adamant to be seen and heard that I need to obviously figure out what it's meaning and what it's talking about. So I've been contemplating it and sitting with it and looking at it and meditating with it and spending some time with it and trying to figure out like what the message is and what is coming through for me through this card. So that's been a big thing that's been happening with this deck. So with the Mabon, I started out the September with these two. I'll show you the first one. All right, so I'm not going to flip through it. Like I said, I already showed it on my Augustine seat, but I'm going to show you what I've been working with it. And they're not, energetically, they're compatible. However, visually, okay. This has got a lot of primary and jewel tones in it. Actually, I'd say more primary colors and jewel tones, where this one here is very beautiful and pastel-y and soft and just gorgeous. You've probably seen this everywhere. This is the talk of the town right now, right? My cat has decided that she's going to play with her ball that has a bell in it. So if you guys can hear that jingling in the background, I'm sorry. She's going bananas. Usually my mic's pretty good at cutting that stuff out, so it should be fine. But if you hear that, that's what's going on. So back to like what I was saying about this. This deck, in my opinion, this has been here a month now, and I've worked with it. It's by my bedside with this deck. They've been working every night, multiple times throughout the day. I go to it and turn to them, and I use them, and I pull cards, and I read them. It's insane. I mean, like, I've always been a fan of the Moonchild, the original edition, but the level that this Shadow Edition has come at me, I was not expecting. I love it. I love everything about it. It is phenomenal. And anybody who's, I mean, like I said, this deck is all over YouTube. It's all over everything. It's all over Instagram. It's all over everything. It has taken the world by storm. This edging, the colors, the texture, the feel. I mean, I know some people aren't into this finish that's on it, but it's like, this is like the Cadillac of tarot. I feel that this deck has reached a new level of elegance, and it is an experience. When you take this out and you start working with it, it is a texture experience. It is a color experience. It is an art experience. In my opinion, this deck has raised the bar in so many ways. And I know some people aren't going to agree with me. You know, there's going to be those people out there that are going to complain about it and say this or that or blah, blah, blah. But I think if anything, you should see that the creator, Danielle Noel, has been listening. She has gone back in and she has changed some of the cards. She has put different body types and nationalities in here. She's put in a little bit more like collage art, which, I mean, it's a digital collage, right? I am a little disappointed that the age of the quartz weren't adjusted, but like I said, it's not the end of the world for me. This deck is so beautiful, and it is such a textile experience when you work with it and you touch it and you feel it and you go into these worlds. This coating on it makes everything so soft and elegant. I can't say enough good things about this deck. This deck and me have bonded extremely deep. I was thinking about putting it away today and changing out my bedside deck to be more of a seasonal, to kind of more embrace the October energy that's upon us. But the thought of putting this away like bugged me. So I don't think I'm done with, like, I'm at that point where I can put it away yet. I love it. The Egyptian stuff, the scenery, you know, like, it's just the ancient worlds, like the ancient feeling of going into these worlds, the softness. It's astounding. It's absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, the only thing that I can kind of be a little bit meh about is these court cards. I wish that they were just better age depicted. And that's it. That's my only is so obviously, like, when I say that, it's going to be the queen cards and the king cards. Like, I just felt like, and not even the queen cards, right? More of the king cards. Like, I guess it depends on how you read your tarot. You know, if you read more into the whole age of them and look at, or you see them more as energy, I guess it just depends on how you read them. But I do wish that there was a little bit of age in the court cards, especially the kings. This card is freaking magic. The magician is magic. I can't get over how beautiful it is. I can't say enough good things about this deck. I it blew me away, and I hope that it did that for others, because just the colors, the how it kind of how it reaches kind of into a little bit more of a shadowy realm, but without going like really deep and crazy, right? Like it just reaches in just the littlest bit. And I don't know, I love it. I think it is so well done. It's an amazing deck in my opinion, and I I can't say enough good things about it. The only other thing I'm going to pick on is the typo in the book was never fixed. So the Seven of Wands and the Nine of Wands, the keywords. So we got competition, gain, success, strength, and defiance. Competition, gain, success, strength, and defiance. So you've got your keywords were never corrected, which, you know, is weird because everything else is different. It's just the keywords aren't. So that was never corrected, which is unfortunate. I was hoping that she would correct that in this booklet, but she didn't, and that's okay. Like I said, these are like just being kind of nitpicky. These are things that are really quite irrelevant. Yeah, taken with it. Absolutely taken with it. I guess I'll show it with this, right? Because that's what I've been working with it with. And like I said, like this wasn't about aesthetics at all. They don't match. Like they're not horrible, but they're not awesome either. This has got a lot of primary tones in it. This is obviously a softer color palette, right? So like I've just been working with these, and it's just an energy thing for me. That's what, I don't even know what else to say. They don't look the greatest together. They really honestly don't. But like I always say, like it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for that, you know, perfect, let me cut some of this down here. If you're looking for that perfect look, you know, where everything matches and they just, you know, flow so perfectly together visually, that's one thing, right? But when you're looking for something that kind of works energetically and that suits your personality, this is where this has come in for me. And like I said, they do not match. They don't match the greatest at all. And I know that. And that's, you know, like I said, I don't really care. I've been working with it for its energy and as a personal preference, right? I don't know, I'm enjoying them together. So I'll do my spread with, you know, the Shadow Edition. So I'll lay out my spread with that. And then I'll pick one of these cards to kind of just give me a direction. So I'm using them together, but yet separate, right? So I'll show you. So I'll just lay down my 3 cards that's kind of in the situation or about the situation that I want to know about. Okay. And like I said, nothing in particular. I just grabbed 3 cards. So let's say this is highlighting something that I'm having an issue with, or that I've gone to the tarot about, or I want more information on. And then I'll just kind of ask this, like, what can I take from all of this? Like, what from all of this? What do I need to focus on with all of this? What needs to come forward with all of this, right? And I'll just wait for a card to kind of pop out, and I'll lay it with that. So I'm using it very sparingly, I guess you would say, where I'm going to the tarot for the majority of my information, and then I'm going to this to kind of give me like, what should I be looking at in all of this? And I mean, they don't look hideous together, but they're not like, you know, amazing. They're a little off, but it's okay, because this is like me in a nutshell. It's got my Egyptian stuff. This has got my Egyptian stuff. It's got my botanicals and animals and soft color palettes and cosmic dimensions and all of these, amazing things. It's even gotten a little witchy, which I really appreciate. I like the drops of cauldrons in the couple different things. So like to me, like this is just an amazing deck. And I've been enjoying it extremely, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, so that's how I've been working with the Shadow Edition and the Egyptian gods that came in at the end of August. I love this deck. Love it. I wish it was a little bigger, but I mean, obviously she just did like the number of gods or deities that were gods, goddesses, deities, whatever that were available. So it is a little limited. I think it's only 36, which isn't the greatest. I usually won't buy an oracle unless it's over 42, but this is different. I will break my rule for that one. Okay, so the other deck that I kind of worked a little bit with in September is the Raven's Prophecy. So my relationship with this deck is confusing in a way, I guess you could say. It's a challenge with me in this deck. I don't know why. I can't say why. I have no reasons as to why. I feel it's just because the colors are so bright and like cheery. So kind of was like, oh, summery, but then it's not because these orange borders put me straight, like the black and orange put me straight into October. Right? So I have a little bit, I'm weird with this deck. I like it. I'm glad it's part of my collection, but it's strange to me. I get weird readings with it, and maybe I just need to energetically like wipe it clean. Maybe it's where it was housed at or where it came from. I can see that. The backs, there's a deck that I have and I can't figure out what it is, but I feel like I've seen something similar to this before on backs. I don't know. It's complicated, my relationship with this deck, I guess you could say. I have to figure it out. When you look at it, you would think that this is like right up my alley. But once again, it's the hand thing. So I don't like a lot of hands. I don't mind if there's a little bit of hands, but like that's the exact reason why I have like a difficult times with this the Citadel is because there's too many hands. And this is kind of on the edge of the same thing in a way, other than I do like the way that these hands are drawn, where they're actually more lifelike looking, even though they're weird colors. They're more of a realistic depiction of a hand, whereas the Citadel is more like, you could feel like everybody's wearing like mime gloves, if that makes any sense. But so I pulled this out. I started trying to work with it. I wanted to work with it for September, October, but I just don't find myself going to it. I find myself going to other decks before it. So I put it out center on my desk, hoping that it'll encourage me to kind of build a better relationship with it. And that hasn't really happened yet. So, but it's still the beginning. Like it's the end of September. We haven't even gotten into October yet. So who knows? I might still be able to carve out time to fit this in and to start working with it properly. All right, so on the last video, I showed the decks that I'm working with for October and November. And I mentioned that I had the Trifonti del Luna coming in the Rose Paradoxical, and I had the Zammer twins coming in. I had bought them both off of Deviant Moon Patrick's website, and they were considered damaged or bumped. Right here is, here's my cat. I'm going to insert what they look like showing up. So the state that these decks showed up in, like bumped box or damaged box, it was nothing. I've paid full price for decks that have showed up in worse state than what Patrick has considered to be a damaged box. Um, they look better than like half of the decks that I've had show up here. And the funny thing is I actually had to really honestly spend time looking at, like, trying to find where they were bumped or damaged because they weren't. All right, this guy's got to get down low so I can show you guys. Okay, I'll show you the Zammer twins because it was on top. Look at this. I don't even know if can you guys see this little itty bitty tiny little crease? That is what he considers bumped or damaged. I don't know. Insane to me. Absolutely insane. There is nothing else on this box. I searched and searched and searched and searched, and there's nothing. It is literally this tiny little bump right there. And like I said, I've had decks show up with 1,000,000 times more damage than that. And I paid full price for them. So getting this at a discounted, bumped price was, in my opinion, like the score of the year. Because this is a fantastic deck. I don't know how much this is being shown on YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of time to navigate YouTube and see what everybody else is really talking about. I have noticed, though, I did get to see a little bit in the terms of apparently the Antique Anatomy is big this season. So that's really cool because it's quite an amazing deck. I really do like the Antique Anatomy. So it comes with this little booklet. As you can see, I've already kind of read through mine. It's colored. It's got a little bit of what's going on in the picture, plus the two like upright and reversed meanings. So if you read reversed, it's in there, which is awesome. I love it. This is a perfect like Halloween or like this time of year deck. But I could actually see myself using this throughout the season, all the seasons, because it's kind of got a medieval feel to it, right? I have worked with it a little bit. It is pretty new. I just received it a couple days ago, so I haven't spent a whole heck of a lot of time. This was my card this morning that I pulled. There's the backs. So really cool. They're very skinny, long, skinny cards, which is super cool. They did show up with like straight edges, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't really enjoy because it kind of pokes you in like the palm, right? So I took my edge tool, whatever you want to call it, and I put the small edge on all the cards just to take that sharp corner off, because I'm not really a fan of that. And like I'm not doing like a complete walkthrough on this, right? Those are your two title cards that come with it. I like the feeling of the cards. I'm sure there's complete walkthroughs on this deck. But the artwork is stunning. It is a little weird. There is the macabre. It can be a little grotesque. Like it is strange, right? But I really like it. I think it's very interesting. And when you read like what they're about, it's really cool. And I find that this oracle actually has keywords or like themes or meanings, I guess I should say, behind the cards that nobody else has really put into a deck. So I find it to be very unique and kind of talks about like everything in life, which I think is amazing. So it's a very universal deck in a way, you know, if you're okay working with like this type of imagery. But I find it to be very medieval and or Renaissance-y even. Like I really, really enjoy it. I'm liking it. I'm a fan of it. It's really it's that slippery, his typical cardstock, which is very, very, very slippery. So it shuffles very well. I don't know. I really like this style of artwork. I think it's amazing. It smells a little strange. I don't know if anybody else like sniffs their decks and smells them when they get them, but this is kind of like almost the odor of MJ's indie decks, which is really quite strong and kind of yucky smelling. It's reminiscent of that, but not quite as bad as that. But yeah, I don't know, like, and a Mandrake card, like, how cool is that? I don't know, I really like it. Really, really like it. I think it's really neat looking. Like I said, it shuffles so nice. Look at that. Shuffles super nice. It's spooky. But like I said, like the meanings behind the cards are kind of very unique and different. And I haven't seen anyone really like using them. So I really like, it touches on everyday things. It touches on stuff that's like you run into in your everyday life. So I don't know. I think it's really neat. I really like it. So I was excited when this showed up. I thought it was really cool. It's a good one. I like it. The Trifonti del Luna in the Rose Paradoxical. So this one I have been watching for a while. I like his Paradoxical. I think it's really neat. I like the like just the normal one that's mostly like the black with like the different colors, but I'm kind of glad that I got this one because it's really different than anything else that I really have. And I would have thought for it to be the same energy as the original or the standard. But I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a different energy. It comes with the same thing where you have a couple different tower cards to pick from. You have a couple different devil cards to pick from. There's an alternate star card. So you've got like a couple different things going on in it. So it's the same way as that. But I don't know. Like, once again, I did a reading the other day when it showed up. I've been doing a couple readings here and there with it, and it is spot on. This is the tower card that I picked, the lightning, because I kept the traditional in my original. So I went with the lightning in this one. It just delivers such clear, precise readings. It has not let me down on that. I'll tell you that. It just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I can't even put it into words. It just explains things and a situation so clearly on such a easy to understand level. And when I look at it, it's just such a clear read. It is so precise and clear and accurate. And it's not afraid to just be like, this is why this happened, because you did this. Or this is why this happened, because this person did this. It doesn't sugarcoat, but it's not mean either. Like, it doesn't deliver, like, it's not a Barbara Walker, but it's accurate. And it won't hold back telling you what's going on or why it happened. But at the same time, it's not mean in its delivery, right? It's direct, but not so direct that you need therapy after, right? Like, it's nice. I like it. I'm a fan. I really like this. And it's funny because it made me notice things in the like in the artwork. I was like, I don't remember seeing that in that card. And then I'll go and look and I'm like, oh yeah, there is. Like, it's funny. I really enjoy it. I think it's really cool. This is a really different way of looking at it, and I like it. So glad that I got this purchase. Let me show you the bumped. It took me forever to see it. Do you guys know where it is? It's right here. This corner is slightly sunken in. That is all I could find on it. I searched for scratching, for anything. The only thing I could find is this corner is slightly sunken. So that must be the damage. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm sure there's ones out there that maybe have a little bit more. Maybe I just got really lucky. I don't know. But fantastic. Really liked it. Really like this edition. I think it's really cool, and I'm really glad that it's here. All right, so now on to crystals. And I left them for last because the one crystal I'm going to show is kind of crumbly. And I didn't want any crystal pieces on my top and scratching my cards. So I got myself a nice spray of black kyanite. I brought them in for the shop, and I personally don't have a spray, so I was like, well, I'm going to keep one of them. So I picked the one that spoke to me, and the rest went into the shop. Really quite a cool piece. Oh, here's another one. Okay, you have to get down. It's always the two, the sister and the brother, that always like to jump up and get into the way. So this was, I don't know, really cool energy to it. This black kyanite is really quite interesting. And I think it's cool how it grows differently than the blue kyanite, where the blue kyanite is very like layering, where this is like a spray. So it's very interesting how it grows. Beautiful though. Like I really, I'm glad I grabbed myself a piece. Really quite beautiful. All right, and now on to what I treated myself with. This is a smoky celestial. I don't know if everybody out there knows their crystal stuff, but this is an celestial. And an celestial is quite a fantastic piece. It's kind of like in different point, like almost like DT, like double termination looking. Very interesting. This is full of rainbows. There are so many rainbows in this thing, and it's not going to show up. But there's points that, like, this is so clear. It's insane. But it is just a phenomenal piece. And some people out there will just be like, well, it just looks like a blob of crystal. And I get that. But an celestial is quite interesting. It's got mica formation, like all in between the points, which is really quite beautiful. It's like plates, like mica plates. Very, very beautiful. It has such a beautiful high vibrational energy to it. It's got, I don't even know, like it's still kind of growing, and it's got a bunch of little baby crystals on it. And it's this like crusting almost. It's out of focus. I'm sorry, because it's such a big crystal. But it is so beautiful. The amount of rainbows in it is just insane. So that's what I did, as I bought myself this gorgeous, high quality Brazilian celestial smoky quartz. And it's so pretty. So beautiful. And it sits so perfect too. Like the face of it sits like amazing. It is so beautiful. There's so much different cool stuff going on. I'm a big fan of crystals kept in the raw, because you can just see like what earth has done to it, how it's grown in earth, the different elements it's come into contact with, the different things that it's picked up or grown into it, different crystals that have sistered with it, right? Like the mica and different things, right? That's even might be a little bit of hematite going on up here. So, I mean, it's really quite a phenomenal piece. And like I said, full of rainbows. They're not picking up on the camera, which is unfortunate because it is gorgeous. There's such a big rainbow in this one. It's insane. All right, I'll stop drooling over my celestial. And finally, last but not least, is the other piece of kyanite that I bought myself. So I got this beautiful piece of blue kyanite. It's like a wand, right? That's why I grabbed it. Because I figured this is like a perfect wand. I like to use my blue kyanite for cord cutting and meditation purposes. It's got some crystals growing here, like on it. Very interesting, beautiful piece. But kyanite's crumbly, right? It's like a selenite where it's like satin spar where it's crumbly. So it's kind of hard sometimes to work with because it will make like a mess. Like it's all, see it all over my fingers, all that sparkle. But it's so beautiful. And this is such a nice kyanite piece. So yeah, those are the few things that I treated myself to this month. Get all the crystal stuff off my hands. You see, kind of pokes you like slivery, so you gotta be careful with it. So this is what I've been doing and what I brought in for September. These are the decks that I've purchased or the ones that I've been working with or trying to work with for September. And that was, you know, kind of, well, I was kind of warming up with this one, getting ready to bring it into October and November. But like I said, I have a very complicated relationship with this deck, and I haven't really quite bonded with it. So the Raven's Prophecy and me are kind of at odds at the moment. But it is what it is. I hope to correct it and to, you know, be able to start using it and enjoying it. Yeah. So hopefully everybody's enjoying the beautiful fall weather that is starting to come in. I'm starting to get color in around where I live. I'm starting to see some different things changing color, which is fantastic. I love when that happens. As most people, fall is my favorite time of year. So I'm looking forward to the months that are ahead. I'm actually really honestly looking forward for winter this year. I'm not a huge winter person, but I'm looking forward to the quietness that the snow tends to bring. So here's hoping for a good winter and a good fall. And thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.